Charley from Stand Up Outfitters, and today's board talk we're going to focus on the Glide series from Naish. It ranges from 11.6 to 14 foot, and they're designed to be kind of a touring board. So we're going to get out of the water on them and see how they perform and get back and give you a review. All the ones that we're looking at today are in their GTW construction. Also going to check out the Naish Wave LE paddle, which is a pretty slick paddle. So we're going to get out of the water, check these out, and tell you what we think. Okay, so we just got off the water, tried these boards. We're going to start here with the 11.6. The dimensions on this board are 11'6" by 29.5 inches wide by 6 inches thick, coming in at 210 liters of volume. Spec weight on the board is 24.2 pounds, so pretty darn light board. Really, this board is probably more ideally suited for someone under 165 pounds. I'm at 200 pounds though, and found this board to be super stable even for a guy my size. I think who would be attracted to the 11.6 touring board as opposed to the longer ones is someone who wants to have that glide and that tracking of a tour/race board, but wants a little smaller package that's easier to handle, easier to load on the car, and so forth. They're obviously the smaller people, and I think this really fits the bill. The rocker line of the board, it's a little less flat than you would see in a traditional race board. It's got a little rocker to it, very sympathetic and chop. And it's got a kind of inverted nose where it pierces through chop as well, which makes it great. And the rocker line on it is, really sympathetic too to you doing some downwinding. It's got a tie-down system on it so that you can put some gear on it and so forth. But all in all, I was very impressed with the stability of the board this size for a paddler my size. Okay, next we tried the 12.6 Glide GTW. So the specs on this board are 12'6" by 30 inches by 7 5/16 thick, 250 liters of volume, and a spec weight of 29.7 pounds. Unbelievably stable board for a guy my size, even much bigger. Super stable. What I found that was really fascinating was the thing is pretty darn fast. So for someone who wanted a board that they could use as a daily driver, touring style board, but could also show up and do the occasional race in the 12.6 class, this board does pretty darn well. Certainly won't be as fast as a 26-inch or 25-inch wide board, but very impressed with it. The stability was great. Can't say much more about it. I would really suggest this board if you were someone who wanted a touring board in the 12.6 range that needed it to be stable, the ability to carry gear, and the ability to handle chop water. So now we've got the Naish Glide GTW in the 14 foot. This happens to be the 30-inch wide model, so it's 14 feet by 30 inches wide by 8 3/16 inches thick, with 314 liters of volume, coming in at 34.3 pounds. This is a board for the big guy. I tell you, if you could have someone in excess of 275 pounds could probably paddle this with some skills, and a novice of 250 would not have a problem with it. unbelievably stable. If I was to do a long tour, this would be a great board. I could put 75 pounds of gear on this board easily, and it would still float me quite well. So not quite as fast as other 14s because of the width, but for looking for that board that's just going to be a great daily driver for especially the bigger people, this is a fantastic option. They also make this 14-footer in a 29-inch wide board, and that's going to save you about 34 liters of volume as well as 2 pounds. Now, I've paddled that board a few times in some pretty good downwinders, and that is a real performer in the downwind with unreal stability. So that would be another board that we do carry. That would be a great suggestion for the people who, you know, are a little bit more adventuresome and want to take their touring out onto the more gamey conditions of downwinding and choppier stuff. But all in all, really pleased with everything in this line. If you're looking for a board that is going to go out there and get that fitness distance paddling in, but on a comfortable, beautiful, classy looking rig, this is your deal. All of them made out of the Naish GT construction, which utilizes Australian pine top and bottom laminates. It makes the feel a little bit more organic, a little bit less stiff than the pure epoxy composite versions. Looks like $1 million and saves anywhere from 4 to maybe 5-6 pounds depending on the size and the construction from their other GS construction. But come check us out at standupoutfitters.com or come test drive them at the landing in New Bern, North Carolina.